Hello.
Welcome to TFL Table Talk on July the 6th.
Is that what it is?
Wow.
Yep.
Time is just soaring by. I can't believe today's the 6th already. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. Welcome.
Yep. We hope that you had a good week. God blessed you and
Enjoyed the 4th
everything.
of July day off.
Your garden got rain
Oh, I
and
hope so,
your
yes.
animals stayed healthy. So this week on the farm.
This week on the farm, praying for rain mostly.
Yep.
We didn't
So
get in the
many rain.
garden. It was so dry. We didn't want to disturb a lot, so we only did the necessities, a little light hoeing, just checking everybody, not really disturbing too much because the ground is so dry. Um, oh, we did have one exciting thing. We were going out to do the chores one evening, and I said, we got almost to the barn, and I said, "Do you hear that growling?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm not sure what that is." And then he said, "Get to the porch." So I ran to the porch, and when I ran to the porch, Thor made it to the porch. And he was like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" And then he ran in and got his gun, and I was like, "What?" And there was a bear in the berry thicket, right, right in front of the old barn. And I was like, "That," but it was she was growling, so it might have been the sow with her baby, her cub. It might have
Yeah.
been, or it could have been a bear passing, a man, boy, male, whatever he is passing
Yeah.
through. But right after he got out, the cows next door on the fields next to our farm were just hollering. So that was a little bit of excitement. We didn't get to see him, but we heard him. So that was enough for me. I don't have to see him. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was our big excitement. I called my dad to tell him, there's a bear. He loves to hear my bear stories.
Yep. Got a lot of bears around here in these mountains, but it's been hot for this area.
For this area.
Hot and dry. So, um, yep. That's been the focal points. Not same old going
Daily
on.
routines. We're
Doing
picking
chores.
blackberries now. All the
Yeah,
blackberries are in. I've already picked a couple of gallons, and if we get a little rain, we'll have a second boost, and I'll get 3 or 4 more gallons. So
yeah, that'd be sweeter.
yeah,
Get a little rain.
a
So
little more rain.
hopefully,
We're supposed to, but when clouds hit the mountains, it's a whole different story. So
yeah. Um, anything on TFL that
nothing
going
exciting
on?
going on. Just second, I've got a lot of good emails this week, and I've already answered all of them. So appreciate all your encouraging words. I love it when you share your stories with me. I just love it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. And don't be surprised if somewhere along the line they're in an article somewhere. So
Yep, got our book giveaway. People, and got the addresses sent to the publisher. Those people that won the giveaway. So got that done for TFL. Got some new videos up. One on dehydrating, I think, was this week. One on Oscar, how to use, Ask Oscar for homesteading, self-sufficiency questions. Um, and that's pretty much about it for that. And for next week, you know, uh, got our work to do. Don't have anything that jumps to my mind. Hopefully we get some rain, then we can, get a boost in the garden. So it's been, going on a month and a half, I guess, of real dry. No, it's
we had one little shower in that time, and the sun was shining when it rained in. It didn't last
Yeah.
very long. They used to say the devil's beating his wife. My papa did anyway. When it would rain when the sun was shining. So a lot of the farmers around here, their cows that are on their pastures, their grass is starting to die. So I hope the Lord sends some rain, but He knows best.
About everybody that cuts hay. Has cut their first cutting of hay and got enough rain up to that point. But now it's been dry so long that their second cutting. If they don't get some rain, they ain't gonna have much of a second, and they usually get a second and a third cutting in this area. But they might not. They might just get a first and a second cutting if we get some rain down the road. But of course, one of these days I'll make a video on why we don't believe in cutting hay for our lifestyle. Um, Had a guy stop on the road and in a dump truck and out weed eating, and he stopped, and I was down there by the road weed eating, and he said, "Hey," he said, "Are you the guy that doesn't cut hay?" I mean, it's so foreign to people that they can't, in this area, they can't think about any other way to farm than to cut hay. So there's a lot of reasons why we don't believe that it fits our lifestyle to cut hay. It doesn't seem profitable to us to cut hay. And if you do rotational grazing, then you want to save some pasture to be grazed during the winter. And even a guy down the road that does rotational grazing, um, I've seen videos of his cows with like 3 foot of snow, and they're out there moving the snow and eating the grass. And he had, I think maybe I might be wrong, but I think it's around 300 head.
I was gonna say 300. I was thinking
Yeah.
300 in my head. 300.
So he didn't feed any hay that year with all that snow, but he does rotational grazing, and his fields are in a lot better shape
Yes.
than a lot of the guys around here that cut hay. So that's a video maybe I'll do in the future. Um, Other than that, Q and A's. What questions did you want to focus on, or
I guess
questions?
this week I'll focus on the gardening area because I've had so many questions, and mostly from new gardeners. Concerned about getting started. Their gardens aren't doing what they thought they should be doing. They thought you just stuck a hole, and put the seed in and that kind of thing. So there's so many gardening sites and homesteading sites. So I was real appreciative, that they wanted me to answer their question. The two that stick out in my mind was, how do I know what to plant? Um, the best thing I can tell you, we have an article in the Farmer's Lamp for where I send people to start is about knowing your planting zone. You can look at any seed packet, and any seed site will give you a planting zone for that seed. If you buy live plants at a nursery or a garden center, on the little ticket that tells you what the plant is, it'll have a gardening zone on there. If you know your gardening zone, you know it will, if your number's on that plant or on that seed, it will grow in your area. And so that's where you start. And don't worry about the little A's or B's on there. Mine 7A or 7B. The A and the B only indicates, okay, let's say you're in zone 8A, which is where we've always been, except for the last 2 or 3 years since we've been up here. Um, 8A and 8B. 8A gets 5 degrees, up to 5 degrees cooler in the winter than 8B. That's all that means. So if it says 8, you're good. Okay, it's just for those who really want to separate. Some plants are really temperature sensitive, so it's just minus 5 degrees a little bit. So you're probably good with that. And a lot of them wanted my top tips for new gardeners. So I wrote that down for you. So forgive me for reading because my brain is what my brain is. Okay, my best tips are: be sure you put your garden in the right spot. You don't want it near trees. When I was nursing, one of the young nurses started a garden, and she asked me if I would come look at it. And she said, "It's just bad. It's just bad." And so I went and looked, and she had taken her tiller, bless her heart, and had tilled up all around by some trees. Well, those trees have roots, and they were taking all the nutrients out of the soil, and they were pine trees, so the soil was real acidic. She hadn't done any amending, so those trees are going to pull. So you don't want them next to trees, up next to a tree line. You want it to follow the sun. Don't just go out there and say, "Oh, this spot's in sun." Excuse me. Take a week or two, see where your sun is when it comes up, See where, if at noon you've got any shade cast on your garden, see where it is in the evening, because most of your garden plants are going to want 8 to 10 hours of sun, minimum of 6. I mean, and
Mhm.
that's pushing it for tomatoes and peppers. Um, for your convenience, stay close to water, because when you get dry like this and you don't get rain, you're going to have to bring water. So stay, where you can get drip irrigation. We love drip irrigation, especially this time of year. Um, have your soil checked. If you don't want to have your soil sample checked, then look at it. Dark soil, if it has worms in it, if it's loose, you may want to just add some topsoil to it, do some deep mulch gardening. We have all those articles on the Farmer's Lamp. There's so many things you can do, but you have to start with good soil. If you don't start with good soil, if you make any fruit, it's going to be very little, okay? And the fruit won't have as much nutrition in it because your soil is not healthy. Consider containers for certain things. We love growing onions, lettuce, asparagus, those things in containers, because you can control the soil, the type of soil, the texture of the soil. And if you use the super soil recipe, which is also on the Farmer's Lamp, then you don't have to worry about replenishing that soil. We already talked about choosing the right plants for your zone. Learn your frost dates, your first frost and your last frost. Those are crucial. And if you know your growing zone, that's real easy to find. In the article on the Farmer's Lamp, I'll try to remember to put the link down in there about understanding your growing zones. There's a link in there to the U.S. Department of Agriculture map that shows your gardening zones, so you can know where you are. My suggestion is ask somebody locally that farms, that has a garden. Old timers usually love to share with you. So ask, go to a farmer's market and ask, talk to people, build those relationships. Deep mulch we already talked about, and feed your plants regularly. We don't do a lot of fertilizing because our soil, we've spent years. It takes years to build it up just right, unless you just bring a bunch of good soil in. We add compost and we deep mulch. We have worms, all those things. But if you have to feed your plants, and in a container, you might, and even in the field, some people do, um, use an organic fertilizer.
Yep.
So let me know if you have any questions. Go to TFL, all kinds of articles.
Yeah, and I'll probably do a video in the future where I videotape myself doing a kind of a rough and dirty soil test where you don't have to send it off.
Oh, yeah.
And then that way you can know, if you got a loamy soil or if you got a clay soil or, basically a basic idea of how good your soil is. And that only takes, it'll only take you, 15 minutes to a half hour. Other than that, for health, my phone's going off like crazy. But other than that, for health tips, I would like to talk about oxygen, and the number one necessity for life, is oxygen. Number two is water. You can survive, maybe 3 minutes without oxygen, maybe longer if you've conditioned your body. But you need oxygen, and a lot of people think, well, I've seen a YouTube video or I've seen this TikTok or something about this deep breathing exercise and stuff, and it never really helped me, deep breathing. But what I do know, and it makes sense, is teaching your body to breathe in gently through the nose, hold it for 5 seconds, then breathe out for 5 seconds through the nose, and teaching your body to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose helps your body get more oxygen. It helps your body to, it might feel like it's harder to get oxygen when you're teaching your body to do that, but your body is set up in such a way that if you are breathing short, shallow breaths through your mouth, that's what you do when a bear's chasing you through the woods. The body is going to pump. It's going to be like, oh, we're in trouble, and that
That fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight's going to kick in, and that's not a good resting state or a state where the body's worried about getting the best oxygen in a restful state. Breathing through your nose, if you see a bear or somebody comes at you with a baseball bat, I mean, you're not going to be sitting there breathing through your nose. Your body's going to automatically be taking in short breaths through the mouth. So breathe in through your nose, down into your stomach.
Expand your tummy.
Yeah, just breathe it in for 5 seconds and breathe it out. And sometimes you can do that while you're watching a video or while you're watching TV, if you watch TV, or sitting out on the porch. You can just sit there and breathe in through your nose 5 seconds, breathe out through your nose 5 seconds. It's going to help you get more oxygen into those cells.
We're already up to like 8 seconds. Deep breathing in and out. So you can build up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oxygen is the number one thing. And also, I don't know. I've heard some people that I respect say that those nose strips work, wearing those nose strips that you see some like years ago Jerry Rice wore for when he was a wide receiver for the 49ers. And there's some other people that wear them during the night only, and it helps hold your nostrils.
Oh,
I've never tried them.
Breathe right strips, I think they're called, something like that. Never used them.
They say they work to help you breathe through your nose more freely, and that just helps your body get better oxygen. So you need to get good oxygen. Also, you need to get outside and breathe some good air, not in the city or suburbs, but maybe out in the country. And then an alpine unit, in your house kills mold. It
the air,
basically creates an environment where it's like the air smells like after a thunderstorm, outside, because it charges all those small particles in the air that gravity cannot grab hold of because they're so small, and we're sucking them up in our nose. It puts a negative and a positive charge there, brings them together until they're big enough, and then they fall. So if you do get one, you probably have more dust for first week or so. But oxygen is very important.
I'll put a link to the alpine unit that we have.
Okay.
In the video.
Yep,
in case you're interested in looking at it, see what we're talking about.
They're good. So, any closing thoughts?
Nope. I sure hope you have everything you need: rain, sun, good food, good friends.
Yeah. Until next time.
Safe and happy journey.